Hi, everyone. My name is Tamara Fonseca. I'm speaking from Brazil. And today I'm going to present some preliminary results from my current research, which is related to the assessment of the solutions proposed for the problem of marine plastic pollution. I'm going to start with a brief introduction. We know that 80% of the total marine litter is composed by plastics. They are mainly composed of single-use products and are mostly generated at continental sources. They leak to the environment as mismanaged waste. Plastics can be found as macro and microplastics, and both generate several environmental and social impacts and can also cause many human health issues. Because of that context, the development of solutions for preventing plastics to reach the coastal ecosystems or to remove it from the ocean became a hot topic in the scientific literature. Nevertheless, a systemic approach for assessing the effectiveness of such solutions is currently lacking. Therefore, this study aims to review the current available scientific literature on the solutions proposed for the problem of plastic pollution in the marine environment. The search procedure was carried out at the Scopus database from August to October of 2023. For that, we use the terms ocean marine litter, plastic solution policy or management. And a first screening was carried using the criteria of document type to select only original articles and reviews. Then a second screening was carried by the analysis of abstract contents using the criteria that the documents had to propose or assess a technological management or a policy solution. For the systemic analysis, we draw a system diagram for elucidating the pathways of marine plastic litter, as well as the main components of this process. Each component is used to further categorize the articles that were found, as the solutions developed are targeted to one or more of the components of the system. Here we can see that plastic comes from the industrial systems that either produce plastics or products that have plastics as a component, or even use plastics for packaging. The plastic products are then delivered to the consumers, and the waste generated by both of them goes to the waste collection and management system that is responsible for managing and stocking the plastic waste. Part of that waste is mismanaged and ends up at the watersheds. Plastic is then washed towards the ocean. There is also a smaller amount of plastic that comes from the production systems that operates at the marine environment, such as aquaculture, fisheries, and shipping. Once in the marine environment, the plastic accumulates as macro and microplastics and interact in a negative way with the stock of biodiversity. The only way plastics can exit the marine environment is by an active collection. Our bibliometric results demonstrate that this research topic has an increased interest in the past 10 years, which accounts for 95% of the documents published. Most of the documents were produced by authors from the developed countries, except for Brazil and India. At the second screening, 29% of the documents were selected for a full text analysis. These articles presented two types of solutions. One type is preventive and the other type is mitigative solutions. Here, we define preventive as measures to avoid plastics to reach the marine environment, and mitigative solutions as measures to monitor or remove the plastic litter from the marine environment. So far, 28 articles have been fully analyzed, and now I'm going to present some highlights of these documents. The preventive solutions that are applicable to all sources of plastics highlights that circular economy can be a useful solution. Besides that, solutions must be case-specific, but also should follow regional and global agreements. Regarding the preventive solutions that are applicable to the plastic industry subsystems, we have that the banishment of the supply of single-use plastics and micropolymers, such as the ones used at cosmetics, it's very important. Nevertheless, positive effects of such policies were not identified until that moment. We also have that a life cycle perspective is needed for the development of new products and new process. And specifically to the life cycle analysis, it should consider the impacts of the mismanaged plastics in the marine environment, which is not considered so far. The preventive solutions applicable to the consumers highlights that is crucial to raise awareness and to create transparency so that consumers can make responsible decisions in reducing the use of plastics and in managing the waste that is generated by them. Regarding the preventive solutions that are applicable to the waste collection and management subsystems, we have that it is very important to increase recycling rate. But this is a challenge as the material price and the quality of these materials are very low. There is a need to invest in the informal sector, that this could be very strategic and also could generate several social benefits. It is also very important to improve accountability of plastic leakage from that system. And specifically for the case of microplastics, we know that at this moment, there is no specific legislation about how it should be managed and how it should be treated. Regarding the preventive solutions that could be applicable to the watershed subsystems, we have the use of stormwater control systems to capture mismanaged waste is needed and could be effective. Regarding the preventive solutions that could be applicable to the fisheries and aquaculture industry, we highlight that there is a need to improve the sustainable use of the plastic resources, the plastic materials that are used for that industry, and also to replace these materials for bio-based ones. It is also needed to improve monitoring of this leakage and also to involve communities on decision-making for better manage this situation. Regarding the solutions that are applicable to the shipping industry, we have that the current legislation is insufficient, and legislation by itself is insufficient in tackling the problem. Moreover, there are several governance issues for that industry. regard the mitigative solutions applicable to the marine ecosystems. We know that marine protected areas are as much affected as non-protected sites. There is a need to improve monitoring and predicting, and there is also a need to improve data collection and data accessibility so that decision makers could access it more easily and create better policies. We also have that to restore and to protect dunes vegetation could be strategic to avoid plastics to reach the ocean. The next steps on this research would be to assess the solutions to remove and to recycle the marine plastic litter. Also, the assessment of the possible scalability of the proposed solutions. So are they applicable only locally, or they can be applicable in a global scale? And to assess the proportions of the studies among the different subsystems. So we know that some of them could be underrepresented at the scientific literature. And we also are going to assess the effectiveness of the proposed solutions in the short and in the long term. I wanted to highlight that this research is aligned with the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development to build the ocean we need for the future we want. Thank you so much. Thanks for your attention. I'm open to questions. And I want to thank the National Research Council, the Brazilian National Research Council, for funding this project. And also to this research is part of the Oceanos de Plástico project carried at the SESMAC University. Thank you so much.